Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's a girl Susie back with another video. Yes, I'm back, baby. So as promised last week, today we're going to be doing a story time again, and this time around it's about a suicide story from my school. It's not just a suicide story, it's also the cause that actually interests me this much. It was me. I caused it. I met somebody want to commit suicide, which is a terrible thing, honestly speaking. But let me get into the video, then you can understand what I'm talking about. So before you comment anything, do make sure you listen. And also, if you're new here, do make sure to subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, if you're returning, or maybe you're not a subscriber yet, do make sure to subscribe. And yeah, join my family and let's get this thing popping. Let's get to rocking. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So yeah, let's get into the video. Okay, guys, hey, welcome back. Now let's get into this story quickly. So this actually happened in my, I think if I'm not mistaken, this was my 10th grade, my last term, the last term of my 10th grade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So what happened is very simple. It is very quick. Okay, let me just get to this. So what happened is this day, we woke up, we're all good and everything. So in our last session of class, I don't know what's with me in last sessions of class, but in our last session of class, what happened is we didn't have a teacher. There was no one to come and teach us in our class on that day. So our civic education teacher, if you're Zambian, you do know what I'm talking about. Our civic education teacher actually came and he was like, he didn't come. He used to give notes to a particular girl, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. He used to give notes to a particular girl, and then that girl was supposed to circulate the notes to all of us. So sometimes she'd get the book, write notes ahead of all of us, and then probably sometimes like she would write some notes on the board for us, but we were always behind her, like she was always ahead. So on our the last session, we were supposed to have civic education, and then he did not come. The teacher did not come, and then the girl who used to have all the notes were like, hey, can you give us your book so we can write notes? I don't even think I wanted to write notes that day. I like people were asking it from her. We're asking for a book. And then she kind of like gave them an excuse. We all knew that this is an excuse. She just didn't. We all know this person just didn't want to give me. It was just an excuse, and that was it. So then that is what she did. So I was offended. I don't know why I was the one to get offended, but I mean, I'm just a person who, if I see something wrong, most of the times I will stand up and I will talk about it. So when she said that, I stood up, like when she gave an excuse, I went like, hey, why do you always never want to give people your books or anything like that? They're literally asking that they will write the notes from here and then give you back the book. Why are you doing that? And then the girl was like, no, they are my notes, blah 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 blah. Then I went like, yeah, they're your notes, but it's good to actually share your notes with other people because they need the notes from you. They're asking for the notes from you. And then everybody in class started laughing. Like, I guess it's how I was saying it or how I came out. Everybody in class laughed and then everything like that. And I was like joking about it. And I'm like, okay, don't worry. Also, next time we get the notes, we won't give you. We will also make sure until you write until to where you are. That's when we'll give you the notes. And then I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the girl was younger than me. And I was like very young and I was in school. I was one of the youngest in my grade in school at that time. So in my grade, I bet she was younger than me, so she was the youngest, and then after her was me. So I hear that it was she was there, but her age at the same time was very confusing because today she said she was this age, the other day I didn't know. So that was it. So when that happened, I forgot about it. I didn't think much of it. And I bet after telling you this story, all of you guys are just like, okay, so then what? And then after we made those jokes in class, cracked jokes, laughed about it, and then I left. I went for punishment. That day I was on punishment. If you remember, if you watched my previous video, I think I did kind of explain why we had punishments in school. So if you were ever late to go to the dining hall for our meals, in the morning for our devotion, if you were late, at the end of the day you'd have to like serve some kind of punishment. So I remember very well that day I was made to sweep, and I hated that punishment. Honestly speaking, I was made to sweep like an area in school. So after I was done sweeping, by the time I was getting back to the dorms, it was almost like our dinner time. So I was rushing back to the dorms so I can get my plate and get on out. So when I went back to go and get my plate, I immediately I was reaching the door, there were people rushing out with they were carrying a person, and then they were rushing out. I didn't even know who that person was or what was going on. I was just reaching, and then I remember I had my shirt, I took off my shirt because I had a vest underneath. I took off my shirt, and my shirt was on my shoulders, looking like a hardcore worker and everything like that, getting back to my dorm. And then I see people rushing out with this girl. I didn't even know who that girl was. And then immediately I'm going in, a girl comes in crying. She's like, Susie, what did you do? And I'm like, me? What did I do? I don't know anything. What's going on? And then later on, I learned to say the girl that I was telling, let me give her a name, Maria. I don't know what to make me an M. So the girl, Maria, actually got annoyed, or she was sad by what I said about the notes in class, and decided to take 10 Panadols, paracetamol. She took 10 so that she could kill herself because of what I said. What? I was so confused at the time, and I really felt bad. I was young at the time. I think by that time I was about 15. Wait, I left school when I was 16. So I think I was 14, turning 15, somewhere there. That was when this happened to me. I bet I was 14 because I didn't turn 15 until the end of the year. It was terrible. If I wasn't 14, I was 15, one of the two. So then I felt bad. I was there thinking, oh my god, this is almost the same as murder. I almost murdered somebody with my words, and which was okay, but at the same time it's why would you do that? I didn't even say, now when I think about it, now that I'm grown, I look back at that moment and go that made no sense. She did that to herself. Why would you do that to yourself? Honestly speaking, with how good this life is, you want to take a life, don't do that. Don't. So that's what happened. Then I remember I went to the dining hall to go and have my dinner that time, because it was almost time for dinner when everything was happening. So I went to have my dinner, and then some teachers called me, and then they're I remember I refused to have dinner, but then some my playing mom in school at that time forced me. So she forced me to eat, and then I was eating, and I remember a teacher coming by and saying Susie, you caused somebody to want to commit suicide, and here you are eating. You are a G. And I'm sir, you're not gonna do this to me. And he cracked up laughing. I remember our civic education teacher going you know what, this when you do that in Zambia, you're supposed to get jailed because it's not your life to take. It's just the same as murder. And nobody was talking about me, me being the cause or anything like that. Nobody took that serious. It wasn't about the cause. Everything they were focusing on was the fact that somebody wanted to take their life, and then that was something they could actually take her to jail for. And then at the same time, I'm well, it ain't my fault, period, and I'm out of it. Then I was happy about that. I guess I was happy about the fact that it was everyone wasn't paying attention to the fact that it was my fault, the fact that it was me. And also what made me know it was me, it was because she wrote a letter, your suicide note, on her suicide note. I was there. She said I was the cause. So I'm dude, what? And then our civic education teacher, I remember at the time, was pressuring the school to take her to jail. And then the nurse of the school was her aunt, if I'm not mistaken. The nurse of the school was her aunt. So because of that, the nurse was the one who was there saying, no, don't do this to her, we'll take her back home. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she went back home that time. And I stopped talking to this girl. Honestly speaking, I stopped because I was scared. I'm immediately I talked to this girl, she'll go and commit suicide again, and then it will be my fault. I'm not doing this again. And then later on, I remember when in our 12th grade or 11th, she started talking to me herself. She started coming, talking to me and everything like that. And I just said I forgot about it. But it was scary. It was terrible. But anyway, so that is our suicide story. that happened caused by me. So make sure next time you're talking to someone, guard your words, because you cause someone to go and commit suicide, and trust me, it's a horrible feeling. You'll be guilty for life. So yeah, even though you won't be arrested or anything like that, you'll be guilty. So yeah, and it's a bad guilt to live with. And yeah, that's it for this week's video. Do make sure to tune in next week. Yeah, next week I'll be posting another video, and for next week I'm really excited because God willing I'll be going soon. Yeah, we're still in summer. Yeah, and I will make sure to vlog that, and I think it'll be an exciting video to watch. So do make sure you come back next week, and to make sure you don't miss the next video I'm gonna post, do click the bell button down below and make sure that your post notifications are turned on, so that immediately I upload a new video you will get notified. And yeah, that's it for today. From me to you, it's Laura, and do make sure to stay safe, love yourself, bye. Once again.